So good evening again, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. You were asked to join this meeting because you will be participating at the J3A's qualification trials tomorrow at Steths. And we wanted to use just a few minutes to update you as to some of the important things to be reminded of for tomorrow, and so that we will have a smooth start and we will have a great day. We will set an example for everyone else to follow. If we are inspected, we are hoping that we will come out at the top of the scale, and everyone will be happy that we would have executed our meet in keeping with the conditions under which we are allowed to resume track and field. It is very important that everyone is, first of all, aware of the expectations as it regards to the protocols and the procedures to be followed, and then that everybody is committed to ensuring that we all abide by these protocols, even if it is not in keeping with our nature and things are not like we are accustomed to. We will just have to abide by all of these protocols and procedures because they have been well thought out. Those are the conditions under which we have been allowed to resume track and field. And if we are to continue over the next few weeks, it is important that there is no loophole identified that may be used to blame or to cause the government to withdraw the approval they have been given. So I know that we would have spent a lot of time over the last few weeks going through these protocols. There has been training for the marshals. The J3As would have had a number of meetings, updating coaches, updating meet organizers about the policies and the protocols that have been implemented. So I'm not going to go through all of those. What I'm going to do is to focus on how we will function tomorrow. As I said before, David is on, so he will help me if he thinks that I'm not covering everything. Ronaldo is here as well, and Wayne, as well as Stephen. So as I said before as well, we don't want it to be a very long meeting, maybe 15 to 20 minutes. So let me just go right into it. Ronaldo, if you have not yet seen the schedule, Ronaldo will send it out immediately. So by the time the meeting is finished, you will see the schedule. We are set to start at 10 o'clock. And if you know us, I think everybody has been involved with Steths and Coca, and you know that we try very hard to ensure that whatever schedule we have out, we stick to it, right? And we usually are able to. So we're going to start at 10 o'clock, and we're hoping that the meet will finish by 4 o'clock. We have enough time in between events to ensure that persons are able to rest properly and so on. And so we're going to stick with the schedule. We are hoping that all the schools will report by 9. I know there are some schools with only 1 athlete or 3 athletes, and therefore, based on the schedule, they may not think that it is important to come at 9. We don't have a problem with that, but just be reminded that you will have to go through the same procedure whatever time of the day you arrive. So let me start with the procedure for entry. First of all, we will not be allowing spectators, right? So if parents want to accompany the children, they are viewed as spectators, they will not be allowed in. I think there's a quota of 8, 1 coach to every 8 athlete. I think we may be allowed a little bit of flexibility where that is concerned, but obviously it can't be 1-to-1 or 1 coach to 4 or 5 athletes, right? So it's 1 coach to 8 athletes, and we will make provisions for an extra person or so. Everybody's reminded that you must have your COVID marshal. If you do not have a marshal, it means that you cannot participate. You're also reminded that the waiver document must be signed, right? And we expect it says to be signed by parent or guardian. If a coach decides to sign it, we have no way of knowing that it is the coach who signed it. But remember that you are going to be held liable if anything else happens, and it is said that it is you who signed it. So, but we expect every single athlete to have a waiver document signed and handed in by the athlete, the individual athlete. So we will collect from each athlete at the start. What we are going to expect is that all the buses or whatever mode of transportation you use to come in, you will drive into the front of the schoolyard. I think everybody knows the front of Steths. and you will park in the parking lot. You will remain in your vehicle until you are approached, and it is indicated that it is your time to come out and be checked. So everybody will come in and park in the parking lot and remain in the vehicle until it is indicated that it is your time to be checked. When you're ready to be checked, your COVID marshal, I think it is Ronaldo, will come out with your team roster to indicate who are the persons on the team, who are their contacts, and so on. We are reminding you as well that you need to check.
Temperature, remember that they're supposed to
right,
check.
And the temperature check would have been made already by you and recorded, but we will also test their temperatures when it's time for them to come off the vehicle. So the one person is going to come off with the documents. They're also going to come with the payment for the entry fees. Remember, it's $300 per athlete, cash or check, and it is not Steths this time. So I have to make sure that it is paid because I would have to give account for that payment based on the number of persons entered. So you have to come with your, remind me again, Ronaldo, let me just look for my notes. You have to come with your, Ronaldo, can go ahead and remind me.
Yes. All right, so the COVID marshal on your team will be the first person who our officials are going to approach, and that COVID marshal should have a contact list for, all the names, the contact list for the students, and that can be, the contact for the coach or the person in charge of the students with their temperature written there that was checked before they came on the bus. When you get to go ahead to exit the bus, you're going to exit in a single file, and each student will hold their waiver or their indemnity form. They'll head to the table that they're directed to, where that form will be collected, and then they will also be checked at the same time.
They'll be
COVID
checked.
marshal for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're handing in the form, they'll be checked at the same spot. Not necessarily recorded, but checked just to make sure they're below the temperature. They're going to proceed, and someone's going to put the armband on them, depending on their respective roles, whether they're athletes or their officials or coaches. Mm-hmm. And obviously the marshal or the person in charge of that team would pay at that same time for the team that was entered.
Mm-hmm. They will actually pay before the others come off. Ronaldo, they'll actually pay before the others come off the vehicle, and they will also be sanitized there, so they will get their hands sanitized. There are also some wash stands nearby, so they can wash their hands. And it is everybody, once they have come off the vehicle, we have designated areas for each school, and I will tell you where your designated area will be. So there's going to be a designated area for each school where you can park your bus, and if you have a tent, you can also put up your tent. We have also put you'll be in close proximity to the bleachers, and we have marked it so that if the students want to come off the bus and go on the other side of the bleachers to see what is happening on the track, there are markings there that will allow them to physically distance from each other. Right? So they have their little location where they can be under their tent or in their bus or on the stands watching what is happening. We're asking you to ensure that your COVID marshal and your whomever is with them is there to supervise them. We do not want school athletes from schools mixing with each other unless it is on the track, right? So once, so you'll be escorted, the entire group would be escorted to their area, and the vehicle will drive around to park in the location where they will be, right? They will have access to bathrooms, right? They'll have access to bathrooms, and as I said, they'll have access to the stands, so that they don't have to necessarily be going all over the place. I think that is what will happen. We're not going to allow persons, we're not allowing people to just go on the track to go and run or warm up or what have you. The entire campus is available for you to do your initial warming up or stretching or what have you. And then we are going to ask for each event. As I said, the schedule is already ready. We're starting the 1500 at 10, the 100 at 11. Then we have a break and start at 1:30 with the, remind me, with the, come again, Mr. Walcott, remind me.
We're starting with the 1500 first.
At 10?
followed up by the 100.
At 11.
Let me just complete. Let me just open the file. Then, if memory serves me right, it's the. Let me just look. Let me not guess. Let me open the file.
And please remember to share the schedule in the group. No, right?
It has, in this group here now, because it has been shared in the Coca group
Okay.
and to most individual coach, but I say it here just the same.
Okay.
As we speak.
All right. So one of the things, we will not have the customary marshalling era. Right? So there will be no marshalling era. What we will have is a large call room, right? Where behind the, I don't know how many I know that it's the talk shop or the conference room. So behind the goal to the northern side, right? All of that area, that paved area and the grass area, that is going to be the call room. For each event, the persons are expected to report 45 minutes before the event. Right, so they will report 45 minutes to the before the event. There will be a marshal at the gate to check off your name to see that you are registered for the event. You will have all of that space to continue your stretching or what have you. And then at least half an hour, maybe up as much as the 45 minutes before the event, you will be allowed on the infield. So the athletes, that is, they'll be allowed on the infield so that they can warm up. Of course, we are going to limit the number of persons that are on the infield at any one time to warm up. We're hoping to have no more than between 24, well, maybe about 24 persons on this, so that the entire football field is going to be used for the warm-up here immediately before their events. As we said before, we're not using paper, so we will do the PA calls, but you have to watch the time. We're going strictly by schedule, so coaches have to make sure that the persons report 45 minutes before the time on the schedule. They report to the large call room, which is all of that open space behind. So it means that there will be no parking there either. Once they are called and the event is run, they are going to be expected to leave via the side gate. They are not going to leave in front of the grandstand, right? That gate at the grandstand will only be used by officials, and will allow coaches to use that gate in front of the grandstand as well. So athletes will use the bottom gate, that small gate towards the northern goal post for entry, and they'll use the side gate just about close to the half line for exit, where they will go back to their buses or their areas, or they'll warm down maybe inside the quad or behind that building or over by the basketball court, right? So that would be the process that each athlete goes through. We won't have any rehydration tent. So schools are responsible for their own rehydration. I can give each of you, those who have more than 10 persons registered, I'll give each of you a pack of Powerade, so you can use it, you can mix it if you need to. We will have ambulance service and so on, but we're asking the coaches to be the initial responder if there's need for medical attention. You make the assessment first. We are trying to avoid the physical contact between any two persons, even medical persons, right? So we are allowing you on the infield. So if there's an issue with your athlete, we will have support, we'll have stretchers, we'll have the ambulance and so on to help. There'll be a doctor there, but we want you to be the initial person to assess if there really needs to be contact between the medical personnel and the individual. All right, because we know that sometimes it's just exhaustion, and we want to, as I said, limit those contacts. Lunches are going to be provided. I don't know how many persons ordered lunches. Lunches are going to be provided. There will be no vendors, no spectators. We're reminding you, we have number of wash hand stands. We will have enough sanitizers to sanitize hands and so on. But remind your athletes that as often as possible, right? There won't be there will always be a wash hand stand somewhere nearby. Ask them to wash their hands and wash their faces as often as they can. Santa Cruz is hot, so it is always good to use water to freshen up, right? But ask them to keep their hands clean, keep on their mask if they are not in the competition era, right? And we'll be watching, we'll be providing, we'll be using both technology and manual watch to ensure that persons in the different areas are wearing their masks and they are not too close to each other. can't stress it too much that it is important. It's important that we get this right. This is not just about this weekend, it's about next weekend, it's about track, it's about champs, it's about world juniors, right? Everything for the rest of the year is depending on what we do this weekend and what we do after next weekend. So the fact that you are here, it means that you want to be here. I know that there are some of you who have taken it upon yourself, even without the support that you would normally get. You have taken it upon yourself to ensure that you are here and you give the kids the opportunity. We can't get the milk from the cow and then kick over the bucket. So we are going to do everything, even the things that we do agree with, we are going to do it because this is what has been agreed upon. All right, I think I've run a very quick race. David. David gone?
No, I'm listening. Take me a while to unmute.
Oh.
But you covered everything.
I did?
You covered everything.
Right.
Yes.
All right, good. Ronaldo, anything else before we open up the floor for questioning? Oh, I need to tell you where you're going to be. I need to tell each school where they're going to be. And we would have used the numbers, that we got from the entries to determine where would be the most appropriate place for you.
Mr. Wellington.
Yes.
We'll also use the volunteers to lead the team leader to the area after they've checked through as well.
Right. When they check at the front, they'll be escorted. I did say they'll be escorted to your area. And again, you have to ensure that you monitor the movement of the students. We know they're not going to be sitting one place for the entire day, but not everybody should be moving all at once. And definitely when somebody moves, you must be able to account for them. They must have time limits as to where they're going and what time they're going to come back, right? Whether it is they are going to compete or they're going to wash their hand or they're just taking a breather because maybe they want to walk away and just remove the mask for a few minutes. All of that, the monitoring has to take place, all right? All right, so let me just...
One more thing, sir. Yeah. At the end of the meet, the meet organizers have to make a report to the J3 as to what happened. So, and we have to speak honestly. And as Mr. Wellington mentioned, we have manual observation, and our campus is being recorded almost 24/7. So we can't be dishonest and we can't lie. So each of the COVID marshal and the team have to be accountable. We can't stress that enough.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks. Wayne, anything to contribute, Wayne? You're not unmuted yet. You still need, yeah.
Yes, I actually do. What I want to ask the coaches to do is to verify that their performance list is correct. Okay. I have not gotten any of the changes so far yet. Mr. Walcott has a few that I will be working on in the next 10 minutes. So if there's any changes that we need to make to the performance list, just tell me now so that we can do the lane draws and it's correct. I also need to give you a number that you can WhatsApp me to for queries with regards to the meet. We're not going to use my number per se. Remember, I'm going to give you the number shortly. I just don't remember it out of my head.
The 832 number?
But I'll give you the number that you can WhatsApp to make the queries for any results or anything that you have to do. Somebody will be manning that personal WhatsApp, and no other interference should come in from it. We're going to put up the start list. So if there's anybody that is not in the COCA group, they need to inform me so that I can send it to them personally.
Yeah, you have quite a few. Quite a few. Ronaldo, you have to just send Wayne a list of the persons who are entered who are not in the COCA group. So Edwin Allen, Manchester, Spalding, Belfield. Right. All right. Okay, finish Wayne.
Yeah.
All right. Just the field events. The field events will take place again over by the community center. For those, I think most persons should know. Access, again, we're going to use time. We're going to use the time. So persons can stay in their camp until they are ready to go by the center. But there's shade over there, there's water and so on. And we'll provide refreshment for the officials over there as well. So just again, you walk through in front of the grandstand, straight past the grandstand, go to that back gate, and you're over by the center. All right. So let me just quickly read through the designated areas for each team. All right. So Steths as the host team will be favored, and they have a large number as well. So both Steths and Edwin Allen have over 50 students participating. So Steths will use the grandstand. Edwin Allen will use the quadrangle inside of the school. All right, so coach inside, so you are on the way over this side. So you have to monitor the schedule and ensure that the athletes, but I'm sure they'll be comfortable. Petersfield will use their usual stand. Petersfield has a stand that they know, but we call it the lurch stand. So Petersfield will use that stand. Manchester High will use the bleachers stand, the end right close to the half line of the football field. They will use that end of the stand along with let me see now, along with Magatti. So Magatti and Manchester will be in close. And we have, as I said, we have marked the stand so we know how many persons can be seated or standing physically apart. So we know that there's enough space based on the entries. So that's Magatti and Manchester will use that end of the bleachers. The other side of that same bleachers nearer towards what is going to be the call room, Herbert Morrison and Lacovia will use that end closer to the call room. Bustamante, there's a building, the building closest to the play field. Bustamante will use the end closest to the clinic. All right, so that end closest to the clinic, your tents are set up there already. So you can just park your bus there. And there's space on the bleachers for you as well. That's southern end bleachers, the bleachers closest to the grandstand. Bustamante, there's space there that your students can use, along with Rossi's, Spot Valley, Cornwall, Cornwall, Albertown, Aberdeen, Hopewell. Many of these, apart from Rossi's and Bustamante, the other schools have only one or three athletes, based on the entries I saw, right? But there's space right beside where Petersfield is, there's space there as well, all right, if you need to just go by and stand. Belfield will use the end of the same building that is closest to the field. The visual arts, the long building, you will use the end closest to the tuck shop or closest to the canteen. So there's a cover in there as well that you can use. There are seats there as well. And who will use the central now? Spallings will use the middle of that building. So your bus can park right there in the middle. And again, you can go over to the beach as there's space for you. Who have I left out? Have I left out any school? Have I left out any school? All right, so those are your designated areas, and we'll post it in the group as well. And as I said, you'll be escorted there. Steve, I don't know if you have anything to add, but remember you're in charge of the officials tomorrow. Steve and then Woolery.
Yes, I have a lot. All right, what I have to add is that come tomorrow, I expect all the coaches to have a good chaperone to ensure that monitoring these students. Remember, it's COVID, and we have to have a good showing. So it means that each coach or chaperone need to have their students and athletes on the rack to ensure they only move when it's important for them to move. And that's very critical. And also to respect the time given for the event. By based on that time, we're going straight by the books. We're not going to hold back for anybody, wait on anybody. They have to be keen attention, observe the 45 minutes before the event. So we have to make sure all these things are in place to make sure this meet their success. We have more to come, and we have to make sure, as you realize, the last meeting, we stand up to say we have a quota, we work by the quota. So if we can't manage this quota this time, we cannot speak about anything excess. So we have to make sure we keep the protocol of the COVID intact to ensure a good and safe meet.
Thank you very much, Steve.
So
And just
that's my bit to ensure come tomorrow, we should have a good meet.
thanks, Steve. If only you looked as good as the profile photo. But just to add that part of the protocols includes a referee who is who is allowed to give yellow cards like football. So we are going to be using a referee who will be allowed to issue yellow cards to team members. And if you are given 2 yellow cards, you are out. All right? Wolverine, can you unmute yourself? Go ahead.
Good night. Yes, good night. I didn't hear the location where we'll be staying for tomorrow.
Your usual stands, boss. That middle stand that you normally
We
stay.
usually,
Yeah.
yeah,
that the
Yes.
middle one. Which one you usually stay? The long one or the middle one? Wolverine, that tall one, the tall middle one, that's the one that I've assigned you. Because I think you have 19 or 20 athletes, I think. And that can accommodate 36 with physical distancing. All right? Not hearing Olu again. All right, colleagues, anything else? Any other questions, any clarifications?
Oh, one last thing. So we're asking schools who have students who live nearby, you know, if it's safe and arrangement has already been made, it can be made. Once they finish competing, if they can get home, I don't have to take them home or take them back to the school, ask them to go home, please. So we can keep reducing the number as we go along.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions?
Just a comment. Just to give you the number.
Yes.
It's 825-6155.
All right,
So that line would be dedicated strictly to dealing with the results and queries.
All right, fine. Somebody asked, what about school bringing tents? Yes, all the areas that you have been assigned, there's space there for you to park your bus and put up a tent, same place there. All right, so if you're bringing your tent, you can set up your tent as well. One thing before I go, can you please just type your name and school and the time you intend to arrive tomorrow in the chat for me. Everybody just type the name, school, and the time you hope to arrive tomorrow morning. All right, and we're hoping that people will arrive between 7:30 and 8:30, or between 7 and 8:30. 7 may be a little bit early for us, but 7:30 to 8:30, 8:45 would be good for us. Would make things run smoothly. Dr. Cox is on the line. Where did he go? Dr. Cox is on the line, and Doc is going to be our chief medical officer for the day, or CMO. And I think he may be a coach on the day as well. Doc?
Yes, I'm here.
Anything to contribute?
No, once everybody stick to the guidelines and the protocols, then we should be fine. I hope we have a medical event-free day.
Yes, we are really hoping for that. All right, thanks, Doc. Romain?
Good night, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night.
I didn't hear what they say regarding the tent.
No,
I'm represented in the squad.
Oh, you have a tent. You can put up a tent, but you don't need a tent where you're going to be, because you have whole for space, you have warm up here, and you have probably all have classrooms.
Oh, so we can just bring one tent just in case then.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Network.
Any other questions, comments?
Probably.
Looks like we got almost everybody in today. Remember to type your name, your school, and the time you hope to arrive tomorrow morning.
Probably not in a big box.
All right. Anybody else? All right. So what if I don't have hard copy of the certificate? That's it. That's the which one is the certificate now? Ronaldo, answer that for me now.
Any copy will be accepted because if it's the COVID certificate, all we need to do is to look at it to verify that, you know, you are you with your ID.
Okay.
So we don't need a physical one. And if it's a soft copy of the indemnity form, then naturally we'd have to ask you to send it to, say, an email address when you get there for whoever the person or persons are that you have the soft copy for. So we look at it to say, yes, you sign, and then you send it to our email address at the beginning.
You have the email address ready, or you want to create one tonight, Ronaldo?
I'd have to create one tonight, but you know, so I'll do one from our domain.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Did I miss anything in the chat? I them not so good now, so we don't read so well at night without my extra glasses, extra eyes. Lishay Malcolm, all right, there, all right. All right. Remember, so I see most of you would have typed in the time. Camille and Petrona, Woolry, Edwin Allen, type in the time you intend to reach from us so that we can plan properly. I think I've covered everything from the chat as well. So just again, just asking that you type in the chat, the school and
So,
the time.
sir, really,
Yes, Paul.
I see that some of the boys' school plan to get there at 8 o'clock in the morning. How will that work if you try to reduce the amount of people in there at that time?
Now I'm meeting. What's it called? Okay. Yeah, Paul. All right. So for us, you know, we're not running boys and girls sessions separately. We're running.
Okay.
Yeah, we're running the session right.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, Paul, I sent you the start list.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Schedule and everything in one file.
I know. So I feel that if I get a ride, I'm on him. Maybe still come because I think the doc will clear me. You know.
Yeah. All right. We can put it.
Must be the landlord. Isolation tent. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. Which Romans and went to, okay. So anybody else? Anyone else? Somebody saying they're not seeing the start list. Wayne, is the start list on the J3 side as well?
No, it's going to be on the J3 side. So the start list will be on the J3 side. I will put it up in the live results, and we should have, well.
And once Mr. Long puts up the start list, which hasn't been published yet, I'll also add it to that same document, which all of you have already been reading, the same one that has the.
All right. Ronaldo, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
Did you hear what I said about the start list?
The one say you're going to put it up as soon as it's created.
Perfect.
All right. All right, I think we have done well, but it a little bit longer than we thought we would have. But I think we could have covered the basics. And I think everybody should be comfortable coming in tomorrow. Reminder that we're not giving any blighs. So teams, make sure that you have everything in place. Make sure you have your COVID marshal present. Make sure you have your waiver document present. Make sure you have your fees present, right? And make sure that everybody has been temperature checked and you have your contact list. We have to ensure that everything goes as planned and as I'm expected, all right? So please make sure you have everything in place. All right? So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Won't keep you any longer. I know some of you won't be able to sleep tonight. You're going to be so excited. Everybody's like, well, let me not use that analogy. But It's like you're going for the first time again. Excited. All right, so thank you very much, colleagues. And I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I will promise you that we'll have a great day once everybody is willing to go by the protocols that have been set. As I said before, I'm going to just send out this recording. So Ronaldo, you can share the recording with the group so that if there's anything that they need clarification and they can just go back to the recording. So that recording will be about half an hour based on the time we would have spent here. All right. Athlete numbers. Ronaldo, we'll get athlete numbers, right? We should have athlete numbers. Wayne? All right, all right, that question, we'll find out what happens tomorrow. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.